All right, good morning and thanks for joining us today. We continue to coordinate a massive and unprecedented response to the damage in western North Carolina by Hurricane Helene. Federal, state, and local partners, along with our volunteers and private sector, have made significant progress in restoring power, water and cell service, opening roads, distributing critical supplies, and providing support to those who need it. Power outages are now a little under 13,000, down from 1 million at the beginning. Closed roads are at 580, down from about 1,200. Many water systems and wells are now operational. However, challenges do remain in restoring water to Asheville and some other communities. FEMA has approved 77,000 people for individual assistance, with more than $99 million already paid out. FEMA is paying for temporary stays for more than 1,900 people in hotels, and together we're working on more temporary housing. We're thankful to our National Guard and our active duty military personnel who partnered on this critical mission. North Carolina's National Guard was in western North Carolina before, during, and after the storm. And we believe this was the fastest and largest integration of active military soldiers working with the National Guard in North Carolina history. Their work has been critical at a key moment in the response. And thanks to this strong operation, significant progress has been made in search and rescue, getting supplies where they're needed, and transportation assistance. I am so grateful for the thousands of state workers and first responders, nonprofit volunteers who remain on the ground working to assist in the recovery. North Carolinians are resilient, and our response to this disaster is strong. However, there's still a persistent and dangerous flow of misinformation about recovery efforts in western North Carolina that can lead to threats and intimidation, breeds confusion, and demoralizes storm survivors and response workers alike. If you're participating in spreading this stuff, stop it. Whatever your aim is, the people you are really hurting are those in western North Carolina who need help. The safety of our government and volunteer response workers, including FEMA, remains a top priority. I've directed the Department of Public Safety to coordinate law enforcement assistance for FEMA and other responders who need it to help ensure their safety and security so people can keep getting the help that they desperately need. We also know that there are many people looking for ways to help. We've activated the North Carolina Disaster Relief Fund managed by the United Way of North Carolina. Donations to this fund go directly to organizations providing relief on the ground. For more information and to make a donation, you can visit nc.gov/donate. Work continues on repairing our damaged roads and bridges. Secretary Hopkins is going to give you an update on that progress. But some roads are closed because they're too damaged and dangerous to travel. There are other roads that still need to be reserved for essential traffic like utility vehicles, construction equipment, and supply trucks. However, some parts of the area are open and ready to welcome visitors, which is critical for the revival of western North Carolina's economy. So if you're considering a visit to the area, consult drivenc.gov for open roads and reach out to the community and the businesses you want to visit to see if they are welcoming visitors back yet. In the immediate aftermath of this storm, because of massive communication outages in western North Carolina, many people called 211 to report friends or family they couldn't get in touch with. When phone service began to return, many people located their loved ones, but that information doesn't usually make it back to 211. The Department of Public Safety formed a task force to find who is still unaccounted for and focus efforts where needed. I want to caution that this is not a definitive count because the task force is continuing its work. The number will continue to fluctuate as more reports come in and others are resolved. As of today, the task force number of unaccounted for people is 92. The task force, law enforcement, and other partners will continue working to locate those who are unaccounted for, and I am thankful for their efforts. This storm brought historic rain and damage to one of the most beautiful regions in our state. In the face of this catastrophic disaster, North Carolinians have come together to help each other and begin to move forward. The road to recovery will be long, and we will be with Western North Carolina every step of the way. Today I'm joined by Emergency Management Director Will Ray, FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell, Major General Todd Hunk, the Adjutant General of the North Carolina National Guard, the Secretary of the Department of Transportation, Joey Hopkins, our Secretary of Department of Public Safety, Eddie Buffalo, the Commander of the North Carolina State Highway Patrol, Colonel Freddie Johnson, the Secretary of the Department of Health and Human Services, Cody Kinsley. Our sign language interpreters are Mark Lineberger and Nicole Fox, and behind the scenes, our Spanish language interpreters are Tamara Cabrera and Erica Kugler. We'll first hear from Emergency Management, Will Ray.
Thank you, Governor Cooper, and good morning, everyone. The response and recovery efforts following Helene are ongoing across Western North Carolina. I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to everyone that has responded to assist our state and to support our local communities during this challenging time. Over 1,500 responders from 38 states have responded to assist North Carolina in our response and recovery efforts. It's been inspiring to see the collaboration and support of partners from across the country converging on our state with one shared mission: to help Western North Carolina. Recovery efforts are continuing and increasing across the impacted area, with local, state, and federal resources deployed into the counties. Over 170,000 North Carolinians have applied for FEMA individual assistance, with nearly $100 million dispersed directly to survivors. Disaster recovery centers have begun operation in impacted counties, and more are coming online before week's end. 4,600 individuals are housed in hotels through FEMA's Transitional Housing Assistance Program. Disaster recovery centers provide critical in-person assistance for survivors that need resources to recover. Applicants can also check on their application status or seek answers to their questions at these locations. FEMA has over 1,200 personnel on the ground, with many distributing information in the impacted communities. As a reminder, FEMA personnel can be identified by their FEMA logo apparel and federal government identification. While many communities have begun the transition from response to recovery, there are still North Carolina fire personnel and trucks, state and federal search and rescue teams, emergency medical services assets, and disaster medical support deployed across the mountains. 14 county emergency operations centers remain activated, with 26 county states of emergency in place and 54 municipal states of emergency that remain in place. There are 13 shelters open, with over 500 residents being served, along with over 80 pets. Our mass feeding task force has 2 sites operational to assist in feeding operations in concert with local emergency management, including the operations of 45 mobile sites across 13 counties. There are approximately 11,000 hot meals being served every day because of their efforts. The North Carolina Department of Transportation has been hard at work, around the clock, to get roadways opened and passable. With a team of more than 2,100 personnel working on more than 6,000 damaged roadways, I want to say thank you for their determination and dedication as a key partner of the North Carolina State Emergency Response Team. Safe drinking water and functioning wastewater systems continues to be a priority in the impacted communities. There are 150 wastewater treatment plants in the impacted area that are now operating under normal processes. 43 facilities are partially operating, with some continuing to operate on backup power. I extend again my sincere thank you to NC Waterworn, to the United States Army Corps of Engineers, and our local partners for their work to assist our local facility operators with addressing problems and for quickly finding solutions. Telecommunications continues to improve across the mountains, with both cell and data service continuing to be restored daily. Our telecommunications partners report that 90% of coverage has been restored across the impacted area. Our law enforcement partners have played a critical role in the response and recovery efforts from Helene. Their dedication to maintaining safety and security in our communities cannot be emphasized enough. From aviation missions to swiftwater rescue teams, to providing security at distribution sites and shelters, to providing backup to local law enforcement, their response has been critical to the mission's success. The State Emergency Response Team has been in regular communication with our county and municipal leaders, and I want to thank all of our local leaders for their dedication and focus on the mission as we navigate our state's worst disaster. Finally, as we move forward, I want to again thank the thousands of people that have converged on Western North Carolina to assist in this massive effort in response, and also as we look over the horizon at long-term recovery. I urge all North Carolinians to remain focused on the mission of supporting Western North Carolina and in a spirit of partnership and collaboration. Our shared goal is to help Western North Carolina communities rebuild stronger and more resilient. As we've said before, this is a whole of community effort that will take investment from all sectors to be successful, and together we will accomplish this mission. To those in Western North Carolina, we are here, we remain with you. Thank you, Governor.
Thank you, Director Ray. And now I'd like to ask FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell to share an update.
Thank you, Governor Cooper. As you all know, Hurricane Helene charted an unprecedented path across 6 states, followed only 2 weeks later by Hurricane Milton. The destruction left by these storms has been catastrophic. FEMA and the entire federal family have been on the ground across the region since before the storm made impact. And I remain here in North Carolina, directing the response and the recovery efforts across all affected states, as well as our tribal nations. But I need everyone listening to hear this from me. The ongoing spread of misinformation about operations is not okay. It has got to stop. The federal family has been here, working side by side with the state since day one. These are people who put their lives on hold to help those who have lost everything. The FEMA workforce, they are dedicated to putting people first, to serving communities and extending a helping hand when disasters like Hurricane Helene strike. And frankly, it's heartbreaking to see words or acts of hatred toward anyone, let alone federal responders who are here to help people in this critical time. So let me be clear, I take these threats seriously, and the safety of these responders is and will remain a priority for me and my team. Now, over the weekend, out of an abundance of caution, we made operational changes to keep FEMA personnel safe. But none of the changes we made impacted ongoing search and rescue or other life safety operations. We started to resume canvassing operations yesterday, and I was in the field with them, going door to door. And our disaster survivor assistance teams will continue to go door to door in impacted communities. So let me be clear, we are not going anywhere. We have over 2,000 people from the federal family in North Carolina, and misinformation will not deter us from our mission of helping people, period. This is what we are here to do, and I want to set the story straight. I have personally been here for over 2 weeks now, and I can tell you that I have felt nothing but gratitude, compassion, and unity from all of the communities that I have met with, from Black Mountain to Collegeville, from Asheville to Canton. And today, I'll be joining Governor Cooper again and his team to go back out west to continue to meet with communities, to visit our disaster recovery centers, and continue the work of helping North Carolinians recover from Hurricane Helene. FEMA and the entire federal family, we will continue to be here across the South, supporting the 6 states impacted by this storm and working directly with survivors for as long as it takes. And with that, I'll turn it back to Governor Cooper.
Thank you, Administrator Criswell. I now like to ask the Department of Public Safety Secretary Eddie Buffalo to share a report.
Thank you, Governor Cooper. Good morning. Our coordinated response to Hurricane Helene reflects the strength of our partnerships and the collaboration between local, state, and federal agencies. Almost every division within the Department of Public Safety has mobilized to support recovery efforts in Western North Carolina. We are working together to ensure our communities receive the help they need. To date, we have over 177 personnel from the State Highway Patrol deployed, ensuring road safety, assisting with evacuations, and maintaining traffic control so that emergency vehicles and essential supplies can move quickly to where they are needed. In addition, 37 agents from the North Carolina Alcohol Law Enforcement are on the ground, supporting local law enforcement and public safety, while our state Capitol Police provides 24-hour security at critical facilities. Our North Carolina National Guard personnel are also playing a key role in delivering additional manpower and resources across the state to support relief efforts. In partnership with the North Carolina Sheriff's Association, we have approximately 165 sheriff deputies deployed, along with 20 detention officers and 20 telecommunicator officers. The North Carolina Association of Chiefs of Police has deployed 206 officers, primarily focused on policing duties within communities. These local officers working along our state resources are critical to ensuring public safety. We've also received support through the Emergency Management Assistance Compact, known as EMAC, with 47 officers from Mississippi currently assisting in Asheville, as we have requested an additional 80 officers to take over site security operations. This joint effort between local, state, and out-of-state resources demonstrates our commitment to keeping North Carolina safe during this challenging time. Specialized teams continue to play a critical role in these efforts. Our swift water rescue personnel, deployed early in the response, have conducted over 200 rescue missions. Our drone teams, in collaboration with the North Carolina Department of Transportation, are conducting aerial damage assessments to help guide recovery efforts. Our aviation units include 4 aircraft deployed since the beginning of the response, have been essential to transporting supplies and conducting further damage assessments. Additionally, our Viper teams are on the ground working tirelessly to restore communication infrastructure, ensuring that all responders remain connected and operational. We have partnered closely with FEMA, whom support has been vital in ensuring our efforts as we continue to deliver the necessary resources to help people of Western North Carolina recover. While we make progress in this recovery, we are also aware of the spread of misinformation on social media, which has led to confusion in some of our communities. In times like these, it is critical that the public receives accurate and reliable information. We are working closely with local law enforcement to maintain a safe and secure environment for both our first responders and the storm survivors. The safety of everyone involved remains our top priority. As the situation continues to evolve, we will assess and adjust our deployments to meet the challenging needs of our communities. The resilience and the determination of all those involved, from law enforcement to volunteers to locals, have been truly inspiring. We remain steadfast in our commitment to supporting recovery efforts and ensuring the safety of all North Carolinians affected by this storm. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Secretary Buffalo. I'll now welcome Major General Todd Hunt, the Adjutant General of the North Carolina National Guard, to share his report.
Thank you, Governor, and good morning. First of all, again, I want to thank the soldiers and airmen of the North Carolina National Guard in active duty for their dedication and continued efforts as they continue to provide relief and support into Western North Carolina. Currently, the National Guard in active duty have approximately 3,300 personnel in the area, along with 1,200 vehicles that are again working throughout the Western North Carolina region. As of today, we have delivered 5,000 tons of commodities, and we've flown almost 1,000 hours on both Army National Guard and active duty aircraft. Our delivery of commodities continues today. However, we are establishing and managing some warehouses for commodity distribution until the citizens and communities are able to take that operation over. We are still working alongside DOT to clear roads, and then currently we have removed almost 1,400 obstacles to make roadways safe. We are integrated with the Highway Patrol and the Department of Agriculture in joint efforts to provide relief where needed. We have touched every county in Western North Carolina to include 100 fire stations, actually a little more than 100 fire stations by our active duty partners, and have liaisons in each one of the counties to ensure our local needs and their local needs are met. And a perfect example of this collaboration with the locals is we currently had yesterday from Haywood County a request to clear 29 bus routes so that children can go back to school today. And that's a true testament of our partnership with the locals. As we continue to provide search efforts, commodity distributions such as blankets, coats, fuel, heaters, and other items in our warehouse management and support. Additionally, our engineering support with DOT is to provide hasty road improvements. This is enabling our citizens that might be cut off from a main road to gain access to a main road, and is making a huge difference within the region. We are beginning to see positive signs right now from response to recovery, and we hope this will continue as we know it will. And in closing, I want to thank the soldiers and airmen on duty and their families left behind. I'm very proud of what the American soldier and airman is accomplishing, and they are making a positive difference within the community. Thank you, Governor.
We're grateful to those soldiers and to their employers who allow these soldiers to take time off from their jobs to engage in active duty. Now I'd like to ask Transportation Secretary Joey Hopkins to share his report.
Thank you, Governor Cooper. DOT staff from all across the state, crews from both Kentucky and Florida, the North Carolina National Guard, the U.S. Army, and our contractors continue to work hard to restore access to impacted sites in the mountains. We have now opened over 670 roads since before the storm, including more than 100 roads since last Friday. As of this morning, we still have approximately 580 roads closed, and we're happy to see this number go down as crews continue with their efforts. We have identified more than 7,000 damaged sites. This includes over 650 bridge sites and almost 700 culvert sites. And we still expect at least 100 bridges to require full replacement. Damage estimates to repair our transportation infrastructure total several $billion. And an area of major interest, of course, is I-40 in the Pigeon River Gorge. We have awarded an $8 million contract, which was below our engineer's estimate of $10 million, to Wright Brothers Construction to stabilize the westbound lanes of I-40. And that contract includes incentives to have them completed by early January. At that same time, we're moving forward with contracts to design and construct the permanent repairs on I-40, and we plan to have a contractor on board in the next few weeks. We've recently reopened